Okay, here we are picking up where we left off. This tutorial is going to walk you through how to do cut extrudes into your control panel. What's a cut extrude, you ask? Well, a cut extrude is basically a hole. So we're going to drill a series of holes into your control panel. And the reason we're going to do that is because a plastic control panel without a place to put things like the volume control and the switch and the input jack and maybe some holes for screws to go into to attach it to your wooden box is not a particularly useful panel without those things. So what I'm looking at is the panel that we did in the last tutorial. So if you look at this, you can see that it's that same piece of plastic. It was 250 by 125 millimeters, and it was extruded 3 millimeters. So you can see that that's that flat sheet of plastic. So it's very similar to if you went into the workshop and you cut a piece of plastic on the bandsaw and you just have this piece of stock. Now what we're going to do now is imagine that we're doing the same sort of thing in Fusion as we would do with a drill. So we're going to drill some holes into this and remove some material from it, and that will give us our mounting points for those things I just talked about. So the way you do that is through more sketches. So like every sketch, it needs to sit on a surface somewhere. So what I usually do is just pick the surface that makes the most sense. So in this case, I'm in the front view. You can see with our view cube. And I'm just picking on this front surface here, and then I'm going to go create sketch. Okay, so it'll flick me into the sketch environment. It'll actually sort of shift my view around, which is annoying. So I'm just going to pull it back with the pan tool. I'm going to hit escape to get out of the pan tool, and this is my sketch. It's on this surface of the control panel, and it doesn't have any geometry in at the moment, but I have to draw those things myself. So what I'm going to do is a series of holes here. I'm going to do those using the center diameter circle tool. It's in my sketch tools panel, there it is. And the center diameter circle builds you a circle that looks precisely like what the name says. It's from the center to the diameter, so the outside if you like. And I'm just going to randomly put 3 circles in to my part. But look at this, what I'm doing is I'm actually sort of making sure they line up horizontally. And the way I'm doing that is I hover over the center of my first circle and then just drag out, and you can see this blue dotted line, and what that is it's locking the centers of my circles onto the same horizontal edge. So when I do my next circle, you can see that they're beautifully in line, and if I keep going, I'm drawing my third circle like that. Okay, I'm going to hit escape to get out of the circle tool. My circles are basically all lined up now, so if I try to move one, I can move it and break that connection. But what I want to do is just lock them together. So if I sort of do that, lock the center to the center, you can see that they all line up. And Fusion will remember that. It will remember when I start adding dimensions that I drew them like that and I wanted them to stay lined up, so it won't mess around with that for me. But when I draw circles, one of the big things you have to do with circles is give them a size. Okay, so that is the sketch tool as well. So it's the same tool we used last time. I'm going to go for sketch dimension and I'm going to pick the edge of the circle. I'm going to drag my dimension out and then just lock it down. Now this one is going to be 7 millimeters. Okay, so it's reasonably small. I'm going to do this with the second hole as well and make that 7.2. And then I'm going to make my third hole 16. And the reason that one's different is because this is the switch. Now, I don't personally mind whether you put the switch there or whether you put it sort of here or up here or out here, that's fine. But just whatever you choose to do, just keep in mind that it needs to make logical sense with the design that you want and the one that you drew on your design sheet. So you probably have an arrangement fairly similar to this, which is great. But you probably also had on your design sheet some sort of dimension on that to give it a location or how far apart the holes were, right? So if I use my dimension tool again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, well, the center of my first circle, I want to be a certain distance away from the left-hand edge, okay? And in my case, I'm going to say my design has 40 millimeters. It's going to sort of put that at a set distance. And then I'm going to say, all right, now the next thing is the center of this hole to the center of the next hole. I also want that to be 40 millimeters. So I'm going to readjust that number and actually get them a bit more consistent. And lo and behold, the third one is going to be the same. I'm actually going to make that 40 as well. So I'm going through and just getting some real consistency in the gaps that I've got between my holes and how far they are from the edge. And I've got this nice sort of lineup of 40 millimeter dimensions across the bottom edge, which gives me those gaps. Now I'm almost there with these holes. The last thing I probably want to do is just make sure that they're actually set at the right height as well. So what I can actually do is I can put a dimension from the center of the first hole to the top edge, and I can just put in that number as well. Now I might want it to be exactly halfway, right? So I know my edge is 125 millimeters, so I might want to make that sort of 62.5 and make it exactly in the middle. I might not want to do that. I might want to muck around and make it a little bit lower, so you know it's not sitting lower in the part. The interesting thing is you can see that because of the way I drew these, they were all kind of locked together horizontally. If I sort of start changing this number, you can see they all shift together because they were all drawn that way. So it's a good thing to sort of get into the habit of drawing things well the first time, because then when you put dimensions in, it doesn't sort of break apart your model and make it look really bad. So that's fine. Now, in theory, that's all ready to go, but you've noticed something strange about this, which is this hole has now become black, whereas these two are still blue. That's because while I drew them to be lined up together, they aren't actually permanently there, so I can actually sort of do this and really break it up, which is kind of not brilliant. So what I probably want to do is just go through and add more dimensions, okay? So I want to go for a 62.5 there as well and lock that one down. Yes, I'm happy with that. And my last one, I'm going to lock that one as well. And you can see that in that way, I've got all my circles locked. If I try to grab these now, there's no way it's going to move. It's actually locked in place. And that's what we call a fully justified sketch. It's a sketch that doesn't have any question marks about it. Everything's in exactly the right spot, and we're happy with their position, okay? So on that, I think I'm pretty happy with what's in this sketch. I don't feel the need to kind of keep going crazy and adding more features and holes and stuff. So I'm actually just going to stop there and say finish sketch, right? And that's what my part looks like now. It's a piece of plastic with some drawings on it. They're not actually holes yet, right? They're just the sketch that I would use to make a hole. So what I want to do now is I want to go to my extrude tool, my old friend. I want to actually do some different things with this. So the first thing I want to do is pick the profiles, the inside of the circles that I want to extrude, right? Then I want to go, okay, I want to go for a distance. Now, what I want to do is go 3 millimeters into the part, right? If I just type in 3, it's going to go the wrong way. You can see how what it's doing is it's going away from the part rather than towards it. I actually can just very simply change that by making that a -3, okay? It looks like it's sort of frozen a little bit, so there we go. I'll just go -3, and it's going the other way. And what it's immediately done, the moment I've done that, is it said, okay, I can tell that you're trying to cut. So see how this operation just changed to cut? You've got a few options here. If you remember, last time we had new body selected. This time I'm cutting it, right? And what that's doing is taking material away. So the preview looks good to me. It looks like it's going to bring a result. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to say, all right, that's fine. Let's go okay and see what we get. So if I look at that now, I've got my holes for my volume control, my input, and my switch set up in this part, and those cuts are ready to go. Okay, so that's a very simple cut extrude. It actually sets this control panel up with some really nicely controlled dimensions and the cuts at the appropriate size. Really quickly, folks, what I'm going to do, it's a 10-minute video, like I said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the holes around the outside for the mounting screws as well. So I'm not going to talk very much about this. I'm actually just going to roll through this so you can see how quickly it can happen when you're actually a little bit more fluent with Fusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw these holes like this. You can see my little blue line-up points, so I'm getting everything lined up. Perfect. Okay, so those are the 4 drill holes. I'm just chucking my dimensions on now. I'm making that 3 millimeters. I'm making this one 3. I'm making this one 3. And I'm making this one 3. Great. Okay, and I'm just going to lock some heights and things in as well. You can see my holes have got pretty small, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to gap this. Now I know it's going into a 19 millimeter piece of timber, so in theory halfway down is about 9.5. So that's great. So I'm just going to start putting those numbers in. Okay, So unfortunately with 4 holes I have to do this 4 times for everything, but that's okay. Wouldn't be the first time I've had to do some repetitive CAD in my life. Alright, and with this side I'm actually going to make that a bit bigger, so I'm going to make it 25. Now if you've got your wits about you, you're sort of thinking, hang on, why is he making this one 25 so the holes aren't exactly in the corner? Which is a really clever question, and it is related to the way we built that wooden box. If you remember, it had a joint right on the corner, and I'm just trying to drill my holes inboard a little bit so I'm not hitting the actual joint line, which would be bad. So hopefully that makes sense. So cool. Those are my 4 circles for my drill holes. That happened pretty quickly. You might take a bit longer, but that's okay. And you can see that like before, I've got my sketches, but I don't have my extrudes yet. So I'm going to extrude. I'm going to go profiles, zoom in a bit. That's 1. Okay, that is 2. Okay, that is 3. And my last one's over here, and that is 4. I'm going to put my distance in as -3. It's going to figure out that I want to cut, and then I'm going okay. Alright, so very quickly, that's how quickly it can go if you sort of know what you're doing and you're pretty fluent with the program. So I've got my 4 drilled holes, I've got my volume control, my input control, my switch, and the next tutorial is going to walk you through how to do a pattern for a grill so you can make that speaker make noise really well. So hopefully your model looks a little bit like this. My video is at 11.5 minutes now, so I'm going to shut off this video and I'll see you in the next one when we talk about that grill design.